All right, what's up, guys? I'm making this intro a little late because I forgot to make it in the beginning. But the car's stock right now, as you can see, and I'm finna let y'all see the whole process of what we did to get this thing back stock from FBO. Here y'all go. All right, guys, we're finna take this thing apart. The first thing we're gonna do is start with the intake. I'm gonna have to hold the phone while we go through this. Unfortunately, I can't find anywhere to set the phone up to record a good video of us doing this. So I'll be taking the camera with me and zooming in on some things my buddy over here does on his side of the job, and we'll get the video out how to take an FBO car down, and we'll have following up after this how to go FBO on a 2022 Camaro 2SS 1LE. Everything is going to bolt up pretty much the same, so we'll be able to use everything off this car and then go get the new car tuned for the E85 and the mods that are on it as well. As you know, you have to get a tune for everything you do. But yeah, we'll get right to it. Might put some stuff in fast motion. We're starting with the intake. Then we'll probably go throttle body and manifold. And then we'll probably go ahead and put the stock ones on and then go to the E85 kit. And the very last will be headers.
Is ready to pair.
All right, guys, we got the intake out. Next part's taking this boot off of the throttle body. We're gonna worry about that off the camera because I wedged this boot on this throttle body and it's extremely tight, so it's gonna be really hard to get off. But basically what we did is we took apart the whole intake. We got the box out over there, the filter there. Here goes the tube straight out the throttle body. And this boot was connected here with the screw-on, tighteners, and then connected to the box here, which went in the 3 holes. And you had to pull on it a little aggressively to get it to come on out of there. And we disconnected the hoses here from this here before pulling it out, and then pulled that piece out. And so now we have the full intake out. Pretty simple. Just the ties, pretty much, on taking apart. Everything else was just pretty much pulled out of there. And then now we're on to the intake. All right, for the intake, we're gonna pop these clips off and get them out of our way. Then we're gonna get this sensor out right here, and then we will unbolt it and go ahead, unbolt the whole entire manifold all the way through and pull it out. We'll probably actually take the E85 kit off next to go ahead and get it out of the way. Since the fuel line's on top, we can pull that fuel line out the way and get all the plug wires unplugged and all that good stuff. And then we'll pull the throttle body and the intake manifold out together. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take the E85 kit off first, get it out the way. So I had to disconnect it from one of my cylinders, and then I have to disconnect this right here, and then I'll have to get the little tool. I'll show y'all guys what that looks like if I can find it. If not, we'll have to make something work. And pop that fuel line off and get that line out the way. We'll go ahead and get this E85 kit off, get it unplugged, and get the wire back, and get that out the way first. Do want to say something about this clip real quick. You will have to, it is the last one down on this car. You'll have to push this clip back and push down on the plastic right here where the screwdriver is, and this will pull back this way, and you'll want to push it all the way back. Let me get it focused in. You want to push that all the way back, And then you'll pull that out and you'll want to bring it under here and up through here where you can get to it a lot easier. All right, I got it up from the bottom, had to pull it through. It was a pain in the ass to do, believe me. You got to take this back part off now to get to the wire. And usually you take this blue piece off to see where to put it, so I'm sure you'll have to take it off to get it out as well. All right, for this part, you'll have to pop the back off. And when the back part is on there, let's get it on there. You'll have to pop these two pins, one on this side and one on the other as well, and it'll pull straight off. And then you got your E85 kit wire right here. And to pull this front part off, the blue piece, you just put a screwdriver in this end and pop it up a tiny bit, and same on the other side where you bend anything, hurt anything, and then you pry it off with your fingers. Now we're ready to get the wire out. All right, definitely want to get this in here too, as I had to just figure this out for myself. In order to get the wire out, there'll be a little, let me focus it in, a little set of black tabs on the back side of each row. You can see right there. You'll have to stick a screwdriver in there and push those tabs back and pull with your other hand, or let your buddy pull that wire out. All right, we could not get the E85 kit off right now because I cannot find the tool for this, so I'm gonna have to put something together to get it apart from here and get it apart from there. But everything's unhooked. That'll be the last step, getting the fuel lines detached and getting this piece out of here. We took the intake manifold out. It's a simple process. This is in the side of the intake right here on the front of it. It's right there inside that hole and screws in right there. Then you have an air hose hooked to here and a sensor plugged in here, which I showed y'all earlier. This is the air hose that we had to unplug, and the sensor here. And we didn't unplug these wires. It came out pretty smooth actually, as long as we took the pins out that were into the manifold, and it just popped up and slid on out. There was a hose on the back attached to this right here, and with your original manifold, this little piece right here goes in this side, and then this other end will go in right here, and will be attached to your manifold. I do not like all that dirt that is down there, so I'm about to take a break and clean all that out without getting anything into my engine. That worked out great. That comes out where I don't have to worry about it getting any dirt in there. Yep, can't get the E85 kit off right now, so we're going to put everything else back. All the stock manifolds, stock throttle body, stock intake, all that good stuff back on, and then we'll be ready to ride. So everything lines up just the same. All the bolts will be in your stock manifold already, and you just screw them all in, tighten them all down, and plug everything back up where it should go. All right, got all them bolts tightened back down. Got this bolted back in there where it's supposed to be and hooked up to the airline or whatever. Hook this back up where it's supposed to be. I actually broke that, so unfortunately I had to super glue it, but it's holding up real good. Gotta put this sensor back in right here. It'll just pop back in there, and we'll hook this airline right here back up to this here, and it'll hook in just like this. Actually, I can't get it all the way snapped in without two hands, but you get the picture. And then we'll plug this sensor right here back into the throttle body. And one thing I do want to say about this here is you don't want to tighten this bolt up too tight. I stripped the other one out on the aftermarket one. I had to get that fixed anyway. I think I pushed these clips out earlier to remove them, so I definitely want to put those back in before I forget. And that's it for that part. And then the next will be putting the intake on and then putting the plastic back on top of the manifold from the stock Camaro top. All right, so everything's pretty much torn down. Put back together. And the last thing we have to do is put the top plastic piece on and the two Camaro side panels on there, and that'll be done. We still have to get the E85 kit off, but that's gonna have to wait till we can get the tool tomorrow. Just want to put everything back together where we can move the cars out the way. But I left it apart like this so I can explain a couple more things. Put the stock intake back in, bolted up good, up in the hole. Put the sensor back in where it needs to go, screwed it down. These two hoses we had removed. The bigger one went here, the smaller one here, and then you follow them on. The small one comes out on a bigger end to plug in here, and this one plugs to the intake right here. And then we plug this back up to the stock manifold there, and the sensor's back in the throttle body. That sensor's back where it needs to be back here. We just got to bolt it down. And yeah, the next part of the video you see, guys, is gonna have the front pieces back on. It's gonna look like all stock motor again. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps everything up. They're bone stock, except for the 85 kit and the header. So I guess we're not bone stock. But everything's done. Everything's back together. We're going to crank it up, get it out the shop, get the 1LE in here, and we're going to go FBO with it. The next video, the camera will be rolling the whole time. You won't have to worry about seeing little things here and there and whatnot. You'll see the whole process with everything's done. Everything will be explained thoroughly to the best of our abilities. And that's pretty much it. We'll have somebody holding the camera this next time. It's about midnight right now. The next video will be taking place tomorrow. So stay tuned. Click the bell, subscribe, stay tuned to the channel so you can get notified every time we do something new like this. Everything we're doing ourselves. We will be under the car with jacks and wood blocks and all kind of stuff to get these headers out and get all that taken care of. You know, we won't have any lift or anything like that. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a pain in the ass. And y'all will get to see our character and our personalities while we enjoy our way through this. See y'all next time. Put everything back stock, and now we're about to have to just go ahead and tear some more stuff off. I actually got my buddy on the way over here. He's going to help me go ahead and get this process completed tonight. As far as the headers go, we will still have to wait on that tool for the E85 kit tomorrow. But we should be able to get these headers done tonight. We're about to take everything apart, jack the car up, get everything ready to go. As of right now, I'm going to take off everything that's going to make easy access to the headers. I'm going to unplug all the plug wires. I'm going to take this reservoir here out, unbolt this, take the reservoir out. I'm going to pull these hoses off here. I'm going to pop these plastic panels off. I may or may not take this off. I'm not sure. I really have no reason to, but I did forget that little shield over there. So I'll probably go ahead and take that back up and put that down and then put it back on there. And like I said, take the plug wires out, get everything I need to get out of my way. And also, before we get started on taking them out, I will have to... which I have the steering shaft marked already from when I put the headers in. I will have to unbolt the steering shaft, take the center piece out, and slide it upward. I'll get all that on video as well. And then we'll unbolt the headers, and we'll have to probably cut them in the back first. We'll have to cut them out down there, and then pull them down through the bottom. have to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts out on the headers. And same thing on this side as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you notice there's some newer bolts back off in there. That's because I replaced those. I meant to put all of them new, but next there's another new one there. But I forgot, and I put the old ones back in, even though they came with new ones. And yeah, I really don't even remember how those 3 new ones got in there. But that's what we'll do first, take those apart. And after we have that apart, I will remove that steering shaft right there, take that bolt out there, that bolt out there. That top part will slide in, that bottom part will slide down, and that'll be out of our way. And that'll be what we go into next. And I'll get that all on film. So yep, let's get to it. That's what I was saying about this dipstick. I believe earlier I said it was a pain in the ass to take out. It's not. It's very easy. One little bolt, slide the dipstick out. The hard part is getting the dipstick back in, and it's almost impossible. I mean, it is damn near impossible. It is so hard. People have to move the starter and all kinds of stuff. I did not. I got it back in there. I did it the hard way, the long way, but I got that joker back in there, and we're going to be doing it the same way because I want y'all to be able to do it the easy way, take less things apart, mess with less stuff. So right now, we're finna pop this screw out right here, pop this back, and pop it out. I'll do all that on camera with one hand, and then by then, my partner should be here, and we'll get started on getting the headers broke out. All right, we're unscrewing this right here. This little screw, T25 bit for the screw on the dipstick. It's good enough I can get it with my hands. All right, got that out of there. Now this dipstick pulls straight up. And after it pulls straight up, you just pull it on out of there. It comes right on out. Had a first oil change in this joker too. All right, set the dipstick over here. Now we have nothing in the way of those headers, and we'll start unbolting them. All right, guys. The header bolts right there, all 5 of them back through here. You're going to want a 13mm socket, and you're probably going to want an extension for some of them. But anyway, you might not be able to get an extension on there for a lot of them, like this one. Break it loose. All right, now that I got that one loose, get off it. And I'm going to come back here to this third one back. God, I don't think I'm going to be able to. I'm going to have to use a swivel. So you might need a swivel. If you don't have one, there are other ways around it. Unfortunately, I won't be showing other ways around it because I do have a swivel. All right, got my swivel on here. Got my socket on. Now we'll get back off in here. And I don't know that this will even help. In all honesty, oh yes it will, dadgummit. Might just could use a doggone extension and be able to get off in there. But anyway, this worked for me. So I got that loosened up. Now that those two are loosened up, I'm gonna go ahead and loosen on the front one a little bit. I'm gonna take this swivel off because it's annoying unless you need it. In my opinion, it's annoying to work with unless you need it. This is without taking the intake out, guys. Say that one more time. All right, got some pressure off that front one. Now I'm gonna get to the back one. The back is definitely the hardest to break loose back there. I got it broke loose. I'm gonna swap hands with the camera real quick. And this is all by hand, no power tools. This whole shebang. Now I'm gonna break this middle one loose. Those are way too tight for header bolts, I believe. All right. Now, got all them broke loose, so now I'm gonna put the camera down while I take them all out, and I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side as well. All right, so next step to this process is we actually have to take these bolts out from the bottom on the steering shaft. So I'm gonna get that socket and get these bolts out, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like when it's out of here from the top side and the bottom side. All right, you'll need an 11mm socket and a shit ton of extensions. If you're working like me with a little bit of stuff to get this undone here. And I'll be back when I'm done. All right, this is what it looks like once it's out. It'll pull out from that bottom, and this bottom can then move out of the way wherever you need it to. And this top, I'll move it for you real quick. It shoves up and down. You can see it barely coming out right there. And then I'll see if I can get it where y'all can see it. Just push it up in there. It just pushes upward. Pushes up there on out the way. Lost this plastic piece that came out of the top side that you will need. So let's get that back in there and get back with y'all on the next thing. Guys, everything on the top side's done. The header bolts are all out on both sides. And now that we got all those header bolts out and that steering shaft out the way, we can pull them jokers right on out. So the next step is crawl under the car, take the Sawzall, and I'm gonna cut the exhaust. And that'll be able to cut the exhaust, undo the clamps, and pull the take the oxygen sensors out and pull the headers through. I'll show y'all the underside with the oxygen sensors and whatnot, and everything you'll have to do on the bottom side. All right, next part, we're under the car. We're gonna have to take the saw and cut right there, cut that out. And we'll have to do that on both sides. Same over here, had to cut that. And I'm gonna leave the clamps on because I won't be able to get them off since they, bent the bolt after putting it in there. But I'm gonna take the oxygen sensors out before I cut. And we get all them took out, unplugged, and then we'll go ahead and cut that off. Guys, I'm gonna be getting out from under here in just a second. I'm gonna have to jack the car up a little higher in order to get these headers in and out of here. I don't have enough room to work right this minute. But as you see this right here, this is an oxygen sensor socket. It's a 7/8. I use a 7/8 wrench. When I didn't have this, I didn't have it the first time I did this job. But it makes it 1,000 times easier. It makes it where you don't strip your oxygen sensors, and they're made out of some very crappy thin metal, so soft metal, so they will strip out very easy. But here's how they work. You put them on the ratchet, and of course they will go on like this, and you just turn and get them off. And they should come off pretty smooth. Sometimes they still strip. Either way, but if you can go to a local parts store and pick this up before you do the job, it's something that'll make your job a lot easier. Right out from under the car, got the headers out. There they are right there. Not no super good brand, JBL racing headers. I just want to point this out here. You do got to cut all this off. You got to cut it at the header in order for it to be easy enough to work with to get them out of there from under the car, pulling from the underside. Oh, and one more thing. Drunk boy showed up. Shit. I told y'all he was almost here last night. I opened that door before I went to bed. He was passed out in the yard. Been passed out there for probably 2 hours. Anyway, headers are out of there. The next step is to get the E85 kit off. I'm still waiting to do that because I don't have that fuel line disconnect tool. But, oh yeah, look, about messed up holding the camera the wrong way again. But anyway, the next thing we're going to do right this minute is put these stock headers back on. Them little ugly shorties. And clean them up and get them back on, and it should be ready. If you see any smoke, that's from my vape. Big boy. My buddy down there putting the last bolts in on that steer column right there. See, I got the arrows up, got my steering wheel straight in there. Got a bolt in right there below the header, and a bolt right there. And the stock manifolds are attached. We'll just have to put the shields back on there. And we still got to attach this manifold to this side. And after that's bolted up, we'll be back again. Just showing y'all what we did there. We put all the, I don't know the exact way to tighten these back up. You know, torque and spec and everything. So what I did is I kind of got them all a little snug, tightening them up equally. Not even, you know, just snug with my fingers. Then I tightened up on that middle one just a tiny bit, and then the top and then the back. And then I tightened up the two middles evenly with those. Then I bared down on the middle, bared down on the front and the back, and then tightened up the other two. And that's how I did it to keep from getting any leaks in there. All right, we're gonna get this one done. My partner's gone, the camera's back. We got everything wrapped up here. I had to get a little extra light off in there for y'all to see here in a minute. But let me show y'all what we got finished with. All right, guys, so we got the headers bolted all up. We got the steering shaft in. Y'all seen that already. There was 3 bolts in this little heat shield right here. 1, 2, 3, and 1 in the back. I put the oil cap back on, put that back down, and now I have to screw this screw in back tight and the one in the back. Plug my hose in here already. And I got some more hoses to put back on. That'll go with this connector and that connector and this connector here. The dipstick, when we put it in, it was a pain in the ass, as always. And we had the headers already bolted to the car. We had to unbolt them from the car and then run the dipstick through the headers while we had the headers out, able to move around. And we had to go through that second opening between the first 2 headers. And maneuver it around until we got it down in a little tiny hole way off in there. There's no way I'll be able to show where it's going to on camera, but you can kind of see the direction of it, and it's a pain. It's a real pain, but I did it without moving the starter wire and whatnot. Once you find where the dipstick needs to go in at, then you'll figure it out from there. But you will have to have the headers not bolted into the motor already, so you want them to be completely free to move around up and down while you're adjusting how you're moving the oil stick down in there. And then same 3 bolts for the heat shield on this one. Put the heat shield back in. Next, reservoir right there going back in, and the side plastic panel going back in, the spark plugs, the plug wires, and then, like I said, that plastic piece. And I'm gonna take this piece off, put my little foam cover over there back under here, and then put that plastic piece back on. 2 Camaro pieces back on top, and that seals the deal. Everything will be done. Here are the old boys right here. JBL Racing long tubes. Like I said, nothing important. But yeah, guys, I hope that helped out just a little bit. Helped the job, be a little easier for y'all. I did remove the skid plate from under the vehicle. I do want to say that it made it a lot easier. Just go ahead and remove it. You may not feel like putting it back in. If you don't, well, that's on you. I didn't put mine in for a while. I rode without it for probably 4 months, 5 months. But anyway, yep, that pretty much wraps everything up. And I'll get one more video clip in here after I get everything put back together, and give y'all a little bit more key tips. All right, that's pretty much everything. It's the next day today, and this pretty much wraps up the whole ride. We're done with everything. Everything's put back together. The only thing we have left to do is the E85 kit. We just removed the 2 fuel lines right there, take that piece out, and connect the fuel line back where it goes back there. Quick run through what I did on this video. We uninstalled all the FBO parts, the intake manifold, the Roto Fab cold air intake, the 103 millimeter Nick Williams throttle body up there, the long tube headers right there, and the E85 kit, but it hasn't came off yet. So basically all we did, quick little fast run through since I've already went through it already once. Intake pops out here, unscrew these, take them off, that'll come off, this will come apart. You take this hose off here, which I'm glad I did that. Take that hose off right there and then pull all that out, and you want to take these 2 sets of hoses off, put them somewhere safe. You take this air sensor out, these 2 screws, slide it out. You can leave it plugged up. These pop up in the air, and after they pop up, you just take them out on both sides, and you'll take this oil cap out here, remove this plug right here. You'll see how it works when you get on it. Remove this from over there, so both of these will be gone. Like I said, I guess this one isn't pushed up all the way. Well, maybe it is. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. But anyway, then you'll remove this plug here, which runs up through here. Unplug that, get it out of your way. You don't want it in your way. Loosen the header bolts. That's what I did. I loosened all of them. Then I got on the underside and took those 2 bolts out. They have to come out from the underside. That centerpiece comes out. That moves out the way, and that slides up in the steering column. Mark it so you know to have your steering wheel straight. Do not forget to mark it. Mark it, mark it, mark it. Or do something where you know when your steering wheel is going to be straight when you get done. And then the headers slide out from the back. If you're cutting under the bottom, you have to take your oxygen sensors out, of course. Don't forget that part either. But if you're taking out from the bottom and you're using a Sawzall to cut your own exhaust, you do need to cut at the header, like this. At the header. Not like I did on the first one. That was a pain in the ass. And luckily it worked on that one side, but it did not work on this side, so we had to, it did look like that. We had to cut it again to look like that in order for it to have enough wiggle room to get out. So don't forget to do that. Now, moving to this side, take this reservoir out. All you do is unscrew this, pop these back on that one and this big thick hose here. I set the hose up in here where it couldn't leak. Set this hose back in, propped it up in itself where it couldn't leak out. Picked the reservoir up, spilled shit everywhere. You're not gonna get out of it. It's gonna happen. Remove this hose here, remove this one here, remove all those 2 lines, get them out of your way, and set them off to the side. Then you'll have a screw in your dipstick right there where that bar is. You'll have a screw there up on the inside. Unscrew that, pull it out, pull your dipstick out. It'll yank right out, and then you maneuver it and get it out of there. Then you got 2 screws, one there and one there. Take those 2 out, and you pull this black piece off after you've removed this already. And that'll be pretty much everything in your way. Then you want to remove all your plug wires on both sides, remove your header bolts, and that's pretty much it for this side. They'll slide right out. And really, that's pretty much it. And then you completely reverse everything I just did and go back and put it all back together. Just remember to always mark and set your stuff where you know where it goes back to. Never forget. And the next video will be us going FBO on the 2022 1LE. It'll be in the shop. We'll be getting it done up. And that's pretty much everything for this video, guys. Stay tuned for the next one. It'll be a lot more in detail, a lot more in depth, and it'll be a lot more clear of a video. This is the first one, trying to work out the kinks. Had nobody to hold the camera for me. Didn't have anywhere to set it. Had to carry it around with me and record clip. Just because I couldn't do everything with one hand. So the next one will be a lot better, and you'll be watching us go FBO on a car instead of demounting the FBO. This is just a video that's out there just in case, because I didn't find one, so I figured I'd throw it out there in case somebody needs to take their stuff off and they didn't put it on and they don't have the money or don't want to spend the money to pay a shop to do it, teaching you how to do it right now. And pretty much same as watching it go on, you know how it comes off. I mean, that's what I did. So the 1LE will be going FBO, and that'll be the next video. All right, guys, that's it for the video today. I am done. She is done. We are done with this project. Thank God. It's been cold. It's freezing balls out here right now. I don't know why I ain't got no jacket on. But anyway, I appreciate y'all for watching the content. We'll wrap it up. It's been a kind of long video, I believe. I haven't edited yet or anything like that, so I don't really know. Try to take out what I can, speed up what I can, whatever. But anyway, I appreciate y'all guys for watching. And stay tuned to watch the 2022 Go FBO, get tuned, and get the pools in and whatnot after that. But we will show y'all the whole live process. We'll get some lives in. Y'all see us fighting with the job and doing the at-home work so you can learn ways around everything. If we run into something, we'll find a way around it, and y'all will figure out that way around it as well. Everything is done here with no power tools whatsoever, except for the saw to cut the exhaust. All you need is sockets, wrenches, ratchet, screwdrivers, pliers, things like that, man. And you will need a fuel line tool. Do not forget that fuel line tool. Hopefully, if you have an E85 kit, it came with that tool, though. Just don't break it if it's the plastic one, because, God, that's what I did. I broke the first one, lost the second one. So, anyway, I appreciate y'all guys for watching. Y'all have a blessed day.